Today we're going to do a little bit of a bag dump and the gear we use. It's kind of been something that a lot of people have suggested we do, and today we're going to go over what I brought to Wyoming early season mule deer. I'm talking early October, mid-October, so high temps. I was with Kanan on that hunt, so Jalen wasn't with me on that hunt.
I'm going to talk about the stuff when we went to Montana for an antelope hunt at the beginning of October. So a little similar to what Nick has, a little more probably lightweight. Morning temps and night temps weren't quite as cold. So
yeah,
very, very similar to what he brought to Wyoming for his mule deer hunt. So.
And yeah, I was along on that trip. So basically everything that I have is what I basically brought that trip. Just maybe just a little less heavy stuff. I have one heavy thing in here I think I didn't bring along because the temps were so high. So what I wear next to my skin is it's Sitka. It's a core lightweight or short sleeve. It's just a synthetic piece, wicks the moisture off me, just because that time of year we're sweating a lot, want to get the moisture off you, because if you stop in glass it gets cold and then you get cold. I don't wear anything next to the skin on the legs. I just go straight to my pant. But the socks I use for hiking are these Farm to Fleet socks, and they're good. They're not super thick. They're wool socks. Again, just cotton kills. That's the old saying, and those just seem to work well for me. My feet are very sensitive. I get blisters like crazy. So these, for early season, this is what works for me. My feet don't get super sweaty. They do still, but not as bad as some socks.
I usually I'm wearing like a basic t-shirt. I remember when we were in Montana, I think our first couple hours we were out there, we were walking, and I actually took off my t-shirt and I just wore this Apex hoodie just right next to my skin. It was warm enough, and it has some moisture wicking technology in it too. These do have the elbow pads in them. You can take them out if you don't like them, but when you are stocking up on your animals, it's kind of nice because sometimes you have to army crawl and stuff. So I do know some guys don't like them. They take them out right away,
and that's me. I have the same Apex hoodie. That's what I put over the top of this, and I've ditched the elbow pads. Literally the only reason when you get hiking, I hate getting so sweaty right here. And that's the thing, like when we go early season bow hunting for North Dakota, I sometimes do put them back in because you're crawling up on the hill, and cactus is not fun to pick out of your arms.
The Apex pant to go with it, like Nick, I just wore it next to the skin. These both have the knee pads in them.
I take mine out.
Nick takes his out. I kept mine in this year. This was my first year using them, and I really liked them.
One thing I do like about this, a lot of people love fleece for bow hunting and stuff, and it makes a little noise, but it's so tight around the ankles where actually if nothing's rubbing, it's going to make less noise than the fleece. So the fleece is quiet, but this is definitely Sitka's spot and stock line.
For my socks, I just have some Under Armour light, thinner socks. Like Nick, I get sweaty feet pretty easily, so honestly, it probably doesn't matter what kind of sock I wear, I'm going to sweat. So I just got some thinner ones. And they seem to do the trick. And then my last thing is I got some merino gloves, and honestly I don't think I wore these that much in Montana just because of how hot it was.
The thing I used, just a leather set of gloves from Fleet Farm. That's, I mean, $12, and honestly it's one of those deals that covers me up on the start of the hike, and then my hands are the same way as my feet. They sweat a lot, so I take them off and I'm basically just barehanded.
As far as our orange, I just have a cheaper, I think Gander Mountain vest. Got this a couple years ago. I did get it a couple sizes bigger because then I can use it into late season where you have your bigger stuff on. It'll still fit over top. So this probably looks a little big on me in October when I'm not wearing as much, but when it comes to November, it can fit over all your jackets.
I'm one of those guys. I have a Sitka baseball hat, and then I have a Sitka orange piece too. And actually, Wyoming, you're only required to wear a vest or just a hat. So I think sometimes during the video you see us just with a hat on, and especially when you're taking stuff on and off. Did that a little bit in Wyoming because the temperatures did fluctuate a little bit, and I had a Sitka Aero light that I hauled in there in my backpack that we'll be showing you later in what we haul in with our backpack. Early season, I can tighten this little strap here where it doesn't look super big, but late season, and all it does is clip on there. It's not as zipper, so late season I just loosen it up and I can put it over my really heavyweight stuff, whether it be late season whitetail or what me and Jalen were doing yesterday, chasing some elk here late season.
All right, now we're gonna get into some stuff that we sometimes wear, sometimes we don't. This first piece is just a quarter zip. It's a merino wool technology, so really good for moisture wicking. So if you start sweating, it
doesn't smell too.
Yeah,
Merino wool. It's like if we do backcountry, you want merino wool because that synthetic stuff will start stinking, and that's the same way with this t-shirt that I have.
The other piece I have is a Timberline jacket.
Really cuts the wind.
Yeah, really good for wind. Nick's actually wearing it right now, so it's a casual jacket too. This one doesn't have the
pit zips.
The pit zips,
yeah.
Which kind of sucks.
Yeah, it does.
But like I said, it's really good for the wind. It's got a little bit of rain resistant, but not great for it.
We've dealt with rain with that, not downpours obviously, but or snowy or whatever. You put that over the top, works really good. It's light,
really
lightweight,
yeah.
And it's good to throw in the pack if you need it, especially early season like we're talking about now, because it'll be cold for that hour in the morning and it will heat up. So it works really good for that. It is loud.
It is a little loud, yeah. When you kind of rub it together, you can definitely hear it.
I wouldn't bow hunt.
Yeah, it would be tough to bow hunt. It'd be something you wear to where you're gonna drop your stuff, then you'd probably have to take it off.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Stuff that I have that I bring with. This is the Sitka Jetstream vest, and we love the Jetstream jacket for late season. So this is just a little bit to keep my core warm. Same thing as the windstopper in it from Sitka, keeps me really warm. I like putting it on if I need to. If it's cold, I know we had one day in Wyoming, me and Kanan, where it was cold and this was awesome. Put that actually usually underneath my Apex hoodie, and then I was good to go there. Another thing I always bring an extra pair of pants, just because one downside I've found with this Sitka stuff, I know barbed wire will tear just about anything, but it seems like if you just get nicked on the barbed wire, it tears pretty good. And I mean, you gotta look good when you're hunting. So but if it does tear bad, or if I get super sweaty and my Apex isn't able to dry out before the next day, I just have this Sitka Traverse pant, and these are good too. They're a little louder than the Apex, so again, for rifle, for Wyoming, it was good. If you're superstitious, just to change up the luck a little bit, you know, the Apex pants aren't working, but it works really good. Another thing you don't see us using much, but I do have rain stuff. Usually just stays in the pickup. It's all about the forecast. I have these Kuiu rain pants, just no insulation, just super thin. I actually really like them. I just used them about a week ago on the elk hunt. End of December here in North Dakota, it was raining. You just never know about North Dakota weather, but I really like them because they can zip all the way up here. So I had these really heavy boots on, and it was snowy. I was able just to slip on, easy. Obviously, 100% waterproof. This, just a Sitka rain jacket here. I don't think they even sell this one anymore. They have one that's a little more lightweight, probably better. And the last thing that we have on us is our Bino harnesses. We have the same Bino harness, just different camos. It's the Sitka mountain harness, and I'm just gonna walk you through the stuff that I keep in this. I usually have my binoculars attached to the harness, but with this late season elk, I was just using the strap. I have the Swarovski 12x42 NL Pures. First year with them, super impressed. To me, there's no better glass than Swarovski. So really happy with these this year. It's been a game changer for them. I carry a rangefinder, and if you didn't notice, mine's a little different than Jalen's Bino harness. I actually I took whatever this right pocket is, because those are interchangeable, you can take them in and out. I took that out and got this Outdoor Vision rangefinder harness. I didn't like the way this worked for a rangefinder, just because I didn't like how you had to do a couple motions, because you undo it and then you have to take your hand over here to flip it out, and then here. I liked the magnets instead of the latch with the rope, so I can just go like this down and it's there. Well, it should magnetic down there, but I carry a Leopold rangefinder. It's RX 1600. Other things I carry in here, I carry wind checker. This is just the Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls wind checker, and honestly this is really nice. And just, I always used to use baking soda in different things. We grew up doing that with our whitetail hunting, and these are cheap. They're $6-7, and it lasts you so long. You get it and you can't believe it, because there's only powder up to like here in the bottle, and you're like, I got gypped. I mean, you just give it one of those, shoot it up, and it's just like smoke. And it's just perfect. I mean, I check the wind constantly on these hunts, and I still have a lot left. Another thing, I have this little tiny flashlight that I keep on there. Really tiny, actually. My dad got it for me, so I can't tell you. It's a Phoenix. And it takes one AAA battery. And it's just a good little backup. I have it handy if I need it, if my headlamp's buried in my pack. This next thing, it's really huge. Chapstick. I just put it in this little front pocket here. Have my chapstick. I can't tell you how many times that I've forgotten chapstick on hunts, and my lips get just brutally sunburnt, windburnt, whatever, and then it's just painful.
Especially in that October month.
Just brutal.
Where it's windy and it's hot.
Yep, exactly. And then the last thing I believe I carry in my Bino harness are these little earplugs, and they're just, I'm not going to undo them now, but they're gel. You throw them around your neck. You'll see me and Jalen, we use it a lot because the gun we use has a muzzle brake on it, so it's a little loud. So you just put those in if you have time. If you don't, that's too bad.
Plug your ears.
Plug your ears, but that's what I use. Sometimes I'll throw different little things in here, like if I want a knife in there or whatever, but this Sitka mountain harness is designed really well. It even comes with a little lens wipe that's attached in here. I've found myself using that, especially when dust gets on my binos, whatever, but really impressed with this. It has two straps. You wrap it around, then wrap it one kind of around your upper waist, and I really like this harness. It's my favorite one I've had, and I believe you just got yours this year, so he's still trying to figure out what he wants on it and everything too.
But yeah, so going into mine, like Nick, I have the same wind checker. Obviously, he said we use that quite a bit. In this pouch, I would carry a rangefinder if I was hunter. We kind of share that rangefinder, so it kind of goes back and forth. We can
you throw your golfing rangefinder.
Or if he's gone hunting and I just use my golfing one, which works just fine. So that's what goes in this pouch. I don't have anything on the sides of the big case yet, but like you said, the chapstick, a light, a knife, so something little that you might need or you like to carry with you. If you need gum or something like that, you're a gum person, it'd be perfect like that. My binoculars, they are the 12x50 Vortex Diamondback HDs. I got these a couple years ago now. I really like them. I like the 12x50. They give you a good picture. Just like Nick said, when you're out west, you're glassing a lot, so it's good to have that good picture, and you want to have good binoculars. Good thing about Vortex is they have that lifetime warranty too, so anything ever happens to them, they're pretty good about it. If you take them in, they'll get you set up again. So that's what I got for my binos. And then this last one, I carry a little point and shoot camera. It's actually one of our, it's not our best one because our best one kind of took a crap on us, but
technology. It's
just a Canon, what is that? SX740HS. So it's good for our still pictures.
A few years old. I think we
Yeah.
got it 4 or 5 years ago now. It's still nice though.
I have used it to film actually. I filmed this buck back here on this camera, and it's good quality. I mean, but yeah, this is just nice. If you get something, take some still pictures. If you get into some cool scenery, it's always nice to just be able to take some pictures.
And you can put your phone in there.
Yep.
That's actually, I should say that. Usually I do put my phone in there. It's not for pictures though. Usually it's more for checking Onyx. We're big on the Onyx maps. You can download them even if there isn't service. So that's where it's really nice, and we're always checking that because you gotta know if you're on. You gotta stay on public. All we do is hunt public when we're out of state, and you gotta know you're not gonna get anywhere on that private because there isn't fence lines all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, you just gotta know where you're at.
Like Nick, I also have my earplugs in there, so same style, the gel. Yeah, and like I said, I just got this, so I haven't quite fully got it how I'm probably going to use it next year, but it's a start, and I liked it so far. It's got a lot of spaces to put stuff that you might need. I'll have to add some chapstick.
Yeah, these Canatrek, just 400 gram. I use these. They're really good. They work well for my feet. I guess I have no complaints about them. They're a little beat up, got it a little close to the fire here once and melted a little bit up here, but they're really good. So we both run these Mystery Ranch packs. Mine, just to go over it really quick, I have the Mystery Ranch Metcalf. I'm big on the no pockets kind of guy. I used to be just big into as many pockets as I could have. Grew up as a whitetail hunter. I like to have my grunt call in one spot, wind checker, everything just had to be in their own little pockets. Well, when I got this pack, all I wanted to do is for meat hauling. It has this meat hauling spot back here. You take it apart and you can put the meat in between that and the pack. And I was a little tentative because it didn't really have any pockets. Well, now I've grown to absolutely love the no pockets because we have little bags that we put stuff in. It's easy to get at. But a little overview on this pack. I really like it. Zips down the side here so you can get into your pack if it's full up here, if you have something up there. It does actually come with another piece that I haven't used yet. If we do some backcountry hunting next year, depending on the tags we draw, I'll probably need it because it has a couple pockets up there. I don't have it along, unfortunately, but this is just pretty simple. Just a big opening there. They loosen it up. You can get in all your stuff there. Again, back to the meat hauling. Getting our table all wet. Obviously, my seat had some snow in it from last night. But meat hauling, you have to take it off, and you can look up videos of that on YouTube of how to get to it. But you take it off the frame. This is a frame pack, and yeah, it works really good. You got the two buckles down here around the waist and up on the chest. Besides that, I can hook stuff onto the side here. I'll do a gun, tripod a lot of times. I just don't have that set up. Just didn't want to knock anything down. And back here, I carry this, and I'll get that into that in a second. But on to Jalen's pack.
Now my pack is a Mystery Ranch Selway 60. It's not quite set up the same way as Nick's is. As you can see, it has this Y zipper to get into the big pocket. It also has a little top pocket up here that you can put the smaller things in. And then it has these side pockets here that you could hook a gun into, or like what we use it for is trekking poles or a tripod, bog pod, stuff like that. So pretty similar for as long as the meat packing stuff goes. It's a frame pack, so it'll open up. You can put the meat in there. Same thing, hip and shoulder harness connectors. I do have a little camera mount on mine where if I wanted to, we have a kind of a smaller point and shoot type of camera. You can hook it up right on your chest there. So other than that, it's pretty similar to Nick's. If you want to get into Western hunting and you start hiking, you're gonna want a good pack, and
Yeah, this is not a whitetail hunting pack. They're loud.
Yeah.
They are. That was another thing that turned me away from them right away. But when you're Western hunting, you're bow hunting, we ditch the packs a little ways away so we don't have to deal with it. Rifle hunting, a lot of times I'll even put it down. I think most of the time we shoot off of them. I think the first animal we haven't shot off a pack Western hunting was Jalen this year, and we'll get the antelope.
Yeah.
I think that, but you just sit right on here. I've even used the frame part here, right here, and set the gun right there before. Shot one in Montana like that, but that's why it's nice to bring it with. But they are worth the money. All right, so the question I get the most is, what is this tinfoil on your pack? I can't tell you how many people, are you carrying tinfoil? Well, what it is, and it's full of snow and water from last night, it's actually a sleeping pad from Thermarest. It is the Z-Lite SOL sleeping pad, and I use it as a glassing pad. I don't use it for sleeping. Jalen might, he's a napper, but it's great. And sometimes two people, one guy's here, one guy's here. Sometimes in the snow, that's what I was doing last night. I'd sit here, have my legs along the snow.
And the reason I carry this is just in case we have to split up or something, or we're sitting in different spots. It's like it's considerably smaller. Obviously, it's only one person, but this is the Thermarest, excuse me, the Thermarest Z seat, and like folds up to nothing.
That literally folds up to nothing.
Doesn't weigh anything. I mean, very easy to carry around, and like you said, it's just nice to sometimes get off the ground or off the snow, depending on what it is.
But I carry the Sitka Aerolite, or Kelvin Aerolite, I think it is. Very impressive piece for early season. It's a puffy jacket, just not super thick. One of my favorite pieces that I actually have. Like I said, Western hunting. It's gonna tear really easy. Not something I'd walk around with. It is louder. Again, I wouldn't sit with it for like whitetails or anything, but for its purpose, for Western hunting, glassing, it is unbeatable. I mean, I love it, especially that early season, those cold mornings, cold evenings, that early October season. Used it a lot in Wyoming. So it's a very impressive piece, and if you do the hunting like we do, a lot of open area, I would highly suggest getting it.
And one of the better parts is that it folds up into the hood.
Oh yeah,
it folds up into nothing.
And I think we could fold it up into even smaller if we wanted to, but we usually just fold it up into the hood. And I mean, this is just me balling it up, and it gets
it's about
to that. Yeah, I mean, it takes up very little room in your pack, so really good piece.
I'm gonna move on to kind of what I think about more than Nick does, and that's our when we get out hiking, we like to eat a little bit. Well, at least I do, but Nick doesn't. He's kind of a non-eater, so I have to remind him that we need to eat every now and then. I mean, we've been going out to the Badlands, for a couple of years, and now we started to get into the Western hunting, and we've been carrying granola bars and little things. We'll carry some sandwiches out there, but it just kind of gets annoying because it takes up a lot of room. They can get messy at times if they break open and stuff.
And the granola bars just aren't very filling.
Yeah, I mean, they don't.
They're good, but they're just.
So we invested in this jet boil, but it's nice because everything you can just put inside here, so it doesn't take up a whole lot of room. It comes with the propane or
fuel canister.
The fuel canister.
Yeah. And I think it says it. I mean, I think it says it has like 24 boils out of this fuel canister, which is 24. I wouldn't bank on that, but
then that piece connects to the bottom, and then this sits on top here.
That just flattens out. Then you put that on that, this on there, and then put that right on top, and it all goes on there. It's a really slick deal.
I don't even know. It says it goes up to 16 ounces, and then Nick did some research on some freeze-dried meals that we could take for this, and he found these peak refuel meals, and we've used quite a few of them this year.
We tested them out in shed season, because it's always good to test your stuff out until you're, before you get 5 miles back in there, and then all of a sudden we're so hungry and they just taste terrible. So
But like we said, those granola bars weren't filling us up. Well, we decided, well, these will do the trick then. It just says, depending on what flavor you got or what kind you got, depends on how much water you need. And then this one has 40 grams of protein. I think there's ones that get up to 60.
Oh, yeah. And I have a platypus bladder that, once I get it out here, that Mr. Ranch, both our packs have a nice little slot in the back of the backpack. Put that in, run this hose right up through the top. They have a slot for that on top too. And yeah, this is a 3 liter, yep, 3 liters, so 100 ounces. I usually dump 3 water bottles in there, 4 water bottles in there, and I'm good to go for the day easily. I like the bladders. You just can always drink, always hydrate at elevations. Good to hydrate as much as you can.
Next thing that I carry a lot, or one of us carries, is the game bags. These are
our golly. And we only use that once. And the only reason we have those is that was what we used in Wyoming. We didn't use game bags in Montana. We had them with us, and we had those with us. But we usually use caribou game bags. Again, we're just always trying to improve our gear. These are just a little lighter than the caribou game bags, and so that's why I went with those for that trip. No complaints, and honestly I have no complaints about the caribou game bags either. It's just that these are just a little lighter, and the old saying is ounces make pounds and pounds make pain. So so if it's a little lighter and they perform the same, we might deal with these a little more, but they're really nice. They have little string on them to tighten or to hang. They have all these little loops on the side, and the nice thing is this big argali, I think that's how you say it anyway, is reflective. So if you need to hang elk quarters in the tree and you come back, you're looking, where the heck is it? Oh, that grizzly bear is right there feeding on it, feeding on it when you see the reflective stuff. So it works really good. I was really impressed with them this year, and might start using our golly in the future here. But caribou game bags, no complaints with those either, just a little heavier than these ones. Next thing, this year in particular, we got really into glassing off the tripods. I got a new pair of binoculars this year, so I got this Swarovski tripod mount. It works really slick actually. They have this little piece down here where usually you'll have to put a plate or whatever's on your tripod there. Well, if you have a head that you slide the plates in, this will work on it. It's not super tight, it's not, you know, unbelievable with our tripod heads anyway, but I don't have to put a plate on there. I can slide it in there, and it's a little loose, but it's not bad. This is just a nice little adapter though. Put the binoculars on here and then just strap it over them. It's really nice, and glassing off the tripod was a big game changer for us this year, I think.
And I have one that we have to hook up to one of our plates for our tripods, but it's just the Vortex mount. I have the Vortex binoculars, so I have the other piece hooked into my binoculars already, but they just slide in. You tighten this down a little bit, and then you have to adjust them a little bit because it tries to turn your binoculars, but if you just adjust it a little bit, tighten her down, and it's probably more steady than those actually.
Yep,
but
I would agree.
It's just solid. We use it out in Montana quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. I just have better eyes where I can make up for it.
But yeah, these are really nice this year. First year we used them.
That one's simple too. It takes up a little less room.
Yeah. We have enough of these plates where we can just keep it on there too.
So this is the tripod. It's kind of our go-to tripod. We have two because each of us need to glass off our own tripod. But this is a 5-section. I believe it's pronounced Siri. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But it is a ST125. It's carbon. V5 ultra compact fluid head. So it works really good. Almost everything's adjustable. You got this that adjusts. If Jalen is big on the glassing with it forward, like that, if he's looking that way. I like it kind of down, so I'm looking there. You can tighten it wherever you want it. There's a little adjustment on this side. This is your up and down. If you want a little tighter, or if you want it locked on something, you can get it there. This here is for the left and right, same thing. You can lock it down, you can do that. There are leveling there's a level mark on it here. And for these quick release plates, like Jalen was talking, this is the 70A series quick release plate. It's for this head. And like Jalen was talking, we have a lot of these plates. They come in handy because then he can keep one on his Bino mount here. We have cameras, obviously, because we film our hunts. We keep them on there. Spotting scope. It's just so handy to just keep them on there, and just all you have to do is you make sure this right here loosens a little piece here on the inside that tightens it. So you make sure that's loose, other way, and all you do is slide it on there, tighten it down, and it's on there and it's not going anywhere. But if you keep it all in separate stuff like we do now, it took us a couple years to kind of learn how it kind of sucks changing it in between everything. So this is what we do now. To get it out, you release, then there's this little red button here, because then this way it won't come out, so it's a little safety feature. All you have to do is press that down, comes out. This one, we've tried both where, I don't know what you want to call it, but where you lose
buckle.
Yeah, buckle. And we like this better, mainly because we can take our whole hand and loosen the whole thing and get it going like that. And then the same way when we tighten them up, it just seems a little faster for us. And then this also can raise up right here. It's a really good tripod. This is the one I usually carry. Yeah, we
put our camera on that one.
Yep. Yeah, we put our camera on this one. I guess these little bottoms here too, they tighten up, like if you're on some ground where you want kind of a point, like I'm guessing sand or something.
Yeah.
We don't really mess with that much, and it has a thing here where you can hang some weight. There was one hunt this year that I wish we did have it. It was first day of Jalen's rifle tag in Medora, where it was so freaking windy I had to hold the tripod from blowing over. That's where it'd been nice to have some weight there. The tripod that Jalen uses is actually what the camera is on now, so that's why it's not in front of you.
And that one's a, how would you say it? Siri?
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 SIRUI if you're looking for it.
And that's a T004, and then it's got the same head on it too. So it's an aluminum tripod kit. It's just not quite as heavy duty as this one is.
Yeah, about the same weight, I would say. The main thing is the video head. Yeah. They're both really good. I mean, it's just such a good head where, I mean, you want a sturdy tripod, but I think the most important thing is to have a good head. Well, for headlamps, I carry a Peaks headlamp. It's PEAX. It's a small company. I believe it's in Montana. I believe all they sell is headlamp, gator, and trekking poles. And I've been super impressed by it. It's a rechargeable one. I believe it's right here. You just unscrew it. Gives you a little, I don't know, mini USB port, I think it is. And charge it up. I think it says it's supposed to, on its highest setting, it's supposed to last 8 hours. I haven't tested it out to 8 hours, but I have on our early archery elk, because we're in our deer hunting land, or elk hunting land too, I guess. I wanted to kind of test it out before we headed out west, and I mean, I didn't charge it for weeks and it was still working great. And there's 6 different ones. It's on the high red right now. High red, medium red, low red, off, high, medium, low, and then you get back to the red. But it's all, sorry, Jalen.
That's high.
Yeah, it's all controlled by one button on the side. It's just how fast you press it. If you hold it down, it'll flash at you and it'll get locked off, which is really nice for putting it in your bag. And just so it doesn't get turned on, because it does get hot. I'm not saying it's going to start a fire, but it also just burns the battery. So that's a nice little unique thing. Another thing, when you put it on your head, I like how it can go both ways, so you can't get it on there like backwards. Like if you put it on one way, it can't rotate down. You can take it off, which is, I haven't found a really use for that. Maybe some of you will, but I haven't. But it's the strongest red light headlamp that I've ever used easily, and strongest headlamp I've probably used easily. It's my favorite headlamp I've ever had. I usually have a new headlamp every year, just kind of searching for that special thing. And I know this headlamp from those guys at Peaks, they designed it especially for hunters, and I couldn't be more happy with it. I mean, it's a great lamp and it stays on like crazy. The battery life's great. I would trust it on a backcountry hunt. so I wouldn't have to charge it every night or bring extra batteries. It's just really handy in that aspect.
I just have a cheaper light. It's a Coast, kind of this. It doesn't have the red light feature, but a couple different settings there of dimness. You can fold her down a little bit. It's battery or a rechargeable battery. I just have AAA batteries in there right now, but since Nick has this big powerful one, I just have this one and it works well.
One thing I carried in Wyoming, well, Kanan actually carried it, was bear spray in this mystery ranch holder. Nothing much, we were just in grizzly country. So you strap that onto one of the waist belts here, good to go. Kanan felt a little better since he didn't have a rifle, and yeah, it's pretty simple. That's how you mount it on there, and then it's Velcro. And at the end of this video, I'll be testing this out on Jalen, see how good the bear spray works.
Another thing we carry is a Caribou Gear hunter's tarp. I don't think we've used this yet.
We haven't, and honestly, there's two purposes we wanted it for. When you get something, if you're in some just muddy stuff or dirt everywhere, you don't want that on the meat, you lay that out, you have something to deal with it. Then
stakes.
Yeah, comes with lightweight stakes. Another thing that we didn't use it for, but we coulda, especially me and Kanan in Wyoming, is for shade. When it's wide open, you kind of stake it up. You stake up 2 trekking poles, and then you just have a little kind of lean-to there, and it'll create shade. And we might use it in the future. It's just so lightweight, we carry it with us.
We go out western hunting, we use this gun. We've gotten a lot of questions about what gun we use when we're out west. We use this Christensen Arms Mesa 300 Win Mag. It's got a Vortex Razor HD scope on it. It's a 3-15 by 42, and it's a lightweight hunter scope on it. So at first, when we first got it, we were kind of iffy about the optic in it. But we've grown to kind of really like it, especially for at range shooting.
Yeah, because a lot of western hunters, they have the dials. You know, they'll range it and they can dial it to that exact range, and that scope does not have that. It has it's a dot, and then there's line, and it just matches up really good with these bullets. So that's why there's a line all the way up to 600. So we have it in at 200, lined up to 600, and honestly, I know a lot of you guys comfortable shooting a lot further, but we feel like we don't take pride in shooting animals at a long distance. That's just a personal thing, nothing against guys that do. It's just we try to get within 600, and I think the longest shot we've ever had was me out in Colorado. I gave him a little warning shot, and that was someplace right around that 350 mark. And it's just nice to get close. You just, I don't know, more of a challenge, I guess. And I know there's terrain that you can't do it in, because in Colorado we came over the hill there, and it would have been nice to know that I could shoot up to 1,000 yards, but just gotta get closer.
Obviously bolt action. It's got a muzzle brake that's covered by electrician's tape. We like to do this so you get snow, dirt, bark, anything. I mean, just to cover it so you don't get anything down in the barrel. Just makes it a little cleaner for us too. So we could shoot right through it. If we have time, we'd probably take it off, but it's got a big muzzle brake. That's the reason why we have to carry the earplugs so much, because it's pretty loud.
The bullets we use are Barnes. They're the 180 grain TTSX BT bullets. If you know what that means, good for you. I don't. We're not big gun guys. I mean, we care more about the hunting than the shooting and stuff. We just make sure they're on. But little side note on the Barnes, that's what I found best shoots out of that gun. Actually, that gun was really sensitive. I had put some Federals in there, and grouping at 100 yards was like this. I was a little worried. And so bought 5-6 different kinds of shells. Finally, this at 100 yards was just about like that. And so this is what we use, 180 grain. Overkill for some, because we got your Antelope.
An Antelope at just about 200 yards, it puts a good hole in it. So,
but it's one of those deals where it comes down to, that's what we're most comfortable with shooting. We're very comfortable shooting that gun. and we just don't have the money to get an antelope gun. So that's what we use, and you hit them right behind the shoulder, so we didn't ruin too much meat. But yeah, it's what we use, and if you're comfortable with that, I think that's the gun you have to use.
And you know, you get out west, you don't really want to carry the whole box of shells, so we got this. It's a caribou gear, just a bullet holder. It can carry up to 10. We got 5 in there right now, so apparently we're doing okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But so this the little lightweight packs up pretty small. You can just throw it in a pack instead of carrying around a box, or having loose shells in your pockets and stuff like that. One thing we did use out in Montana this year was this bog pod, and the reason being is because you get into antelope country, you don't always have stuff to lean up against or lay down. You get kind of in some awkward terrain. So and we didn't have a lot of weight in our pack, so we decided to carry around this bog pod. It's got I think 3 sections here. Can unscrew the bottom like our tripods, so it can extend out a ways, so you could stand with it. I ended up sitting with it, and these go out quite a ways, so you can get quite an angle, get set up pretty nice on whatever you need to shoot.
This bag here is with all our little essentials, like survival stuff, gutting stuff, so I'm just going to go through this really quick. Starting it out with toilet paper. That's an essential. Gutting gloves, and then these are just HME. Honestly, we just get whatever is the cheapest on Amazon. Knife that we bring, we do the Havalon replaceable blade. They're really lightweight, that's what we like. We carry some extra blades in the back of them here, so works pretty good. We usually carry a couple of those. Extra headlamp. This is just a Pels one, kind of a $30 one. This used to be my go-to. It's pretty lightweight, but don't want to run out of light when you're out there. Carry a pen. Might seem kind of odd to some people, but again, you got to know your state's rules and regulations. Wyoming, you're supposed to sign the tag right after harvest animal, so carried that. And I've heard other things like, okay, we do public land, but if you get permission from somebody, get written permission. Here's a pen if you want that. I mean, weighs nothing, Orange marking tape. We took quite a bit off here just to make it a little more lightweight. But if you want a blood trail, anything you want to mark, wear your glass. I don't know. You can mark all sorts of stuff with that. But that's that. Probably the biggest thing in here, Garmin InReach. Has this little SOS button on the side if you ever get in danger, grizzly attack, lost, whatever. And then just another form of navigation if phones die, I guess. I don't know, we do carry extra batteries and stuff like that, but the SOS function on here is big. I mean, it's just a nice little peace of mind, I guess. Don't want to ever press it, but you never know. Carry 2 emergency blankets. Again, just kind of a survival thing. A lot of people might laugh at that, but you just never know where you're going to go. In them, have some Band-Aids back here. Got moleskin on this one, and then right up top I got an extra rangefinder battery. Something that you need. Compass, another little thing that you just want. You just never know when you're going to need a compass. I know they have them on the phones. Carry some Zeiss lens wipes. Like, we're videoing, we're doing a lot of glassing, we have spotting scope, everything like that. Good to have that. Little thing that we bring that a lot of people might roll their eyes at is a little measuring tape. And it's just if we're way out in the back country and you shoot a nice buck and you're not sure if it's a mounter or not, it gives you a little bit more of how big it actually is. Because I mean, I've walked up to bucks where I was like, okay, this is an okay buck. Actually, Wyoming's a perfect example. I shot him, I was proud of him. It was the biggest buck we saw, and I was like, this is an okay buck. And we had time, so I was like, let's just measure him up really quick. And he was 156. I was like, whoa, that's a little bigger than I thought he was. I mean, it wasn't quite, I didn't want to mount him still, but it could have easily happened with a buck that was bigger. Tweezers. cactus. That's all I gotta say. There's a lot of times in our early years of going out to the Badlands of North Dakota where we wish we had tweezers. We'd sit on cactus, do whatever. Tweezers are really good for thorns, cactus, whatever. Extra pair of earplugs. Muzzle brakes are loud. We have these aqua tabs, aqua Myra, I think. I'm not sure. They're for purifying water. If we have a water bottle or have that jet boil, we can purify water that way. We had a bad experience out in Idaho in 2018, right when we started doing western hunting. We were bear hunting. We ran out of water, came to a stream. We probably should have just drank it, but we were younger and didn't know as much. We ran out of water and we were really out of energy by the time we got back to the pickup. Wet wipes. A lot of times after you're done gutting, good to wipe off your hands, just because I have a habit of like rubbing my eyes and stuff, especially on your way back. You're sweating, you're rubbing your face. Probably good to try to get as much of that crap off it. And you know your gloves should cover it, but it just seems like it never quite does everything. We keep a couple little Advil packs in here. If you hunt with Jalen as much as I do, you get headaches. Maybe the other way around, but yeah, they're good, even for soreness. I mean, you can keep that. The last thing we keep in here are our fire stuff. We have a lighter, and we have waterproof matches, actually, strike anywhere. And then new this year is this Pyro Putty. It's the winter blend, I believe. I don't know, oh, it might say here. No, it doesn't, but it's a certain temperature rating. I believe it's like 60 to negative 20 or something. Their summer blend is like 30 to 100 or something. We don't make a lot of fires if it's not cold, so that's why we got the winter blend.
Used it once this year.
Yeah, we used it once this year, or twice actually. Colorado too. Yep. So yeah, it works really good. It's pretty light. You just, like, if you chew, you know what to do. You just take a little pinch of it, light it. Neither one of us are chewers, but yeah, do that, light it. Lighter's always easy, but good to have a backup thing, because you always want to make sure you can make a fire. You just never know, again, for kind of survival stuff too.
You done?
Yeah, that's all that's in here. It's a lot, but it's
that
all...
That might be one of the most important bags.
Yeah, we always make sure we have this little bag.
That's the safety bag is what we call it.
Yeah,
so.
and it has a lot of stuff that we need.
Yeah. Like I said, this is kind of bought for our camera. We don't necessarily use it that much anymore, but we also will throw a tag in here. Oh, it has your name on it.
I'm good at not filling tags.
So it's just your bow tag. So we'll throw a tag in there if we need to. We have this little tripod. It's looks like a Carson. I'm not even gonna. It's Sky GIF, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I just picked that one up at a Shields one time, and right now we have a mount for the GoPro on it, and that's what we used it for. Like out in Wyoming, me and Kanan used it and got a different angle at us and stuff.
Just another way to set up the GoPro. We also have this mount. This is for a phone mount. You can put it on the tripod. We have a tripod hookup on it, just for pictures or whatever else we'd want to use it for. Mainly that's what we use it for, pictures at the end.
Self timer, just so everybody gets in it.
We have an extra kind of phone cable charger. If we ever need to charge something out there, we can charge it up. Sometimes we'll put an extra memory card or batteries, stuff like that we can throw in here. And then the last thing we have in here right now is just some hand warmers, which sometimes we put them in that bag, sometimes it's kind of wherever we fit them. Something that we use that kind of goes, I don't know, overlooked is just some garbage bags. When we have our meat in the game bags and we're putting them in between our pack, those game bags get bloody and they can kind of leak through, so a lot of times we'll put a garbage bag over top of them just to help keep our bags clean. That way we don't have to clean them after every trip or after every animal we get. So but when you kind of nice to have them.
Yes, it is. But when you get back to the cooler, you got to make sure as soon as you can, you get those game bags out of here, because these aren't breathing.
Yeah. You take them out of the game bags, put them in the cooler, and like we won't carry this. We'll take probably 5-6 of them, and we'll just kind of fold them up. We'll put them in that pouch, this pouch.
Bottom of the backpack.
Bottom, yeah,
anywhere
wherever they fit. So these are really nice to keep your pack clean. And the last thing I got here is what I strap on. Normally it's probably not strapped, but this trekking pole. It is a Voyager. If I can get it out. Apparently I got it in there good. And it's kind of funny. We started using these. We use them quite a bit this year. I don't know.
Yeah.
You've been using them for a couple of years.
2020, I think we got into them just because we were doing elk hunting in Montana, and I mean, you see a lot of people using them, and you know, I think it says for only ages 50 and older. But
well, we get to be 50 then when we go out hiking. But these are really nice, especially in the snow or ice, if it's muddy, anywhere where you're going up and down a lot and it gets a little slippery. It's kind of funny, when I got my mule deer this year, Nick wasn't there, but a buddy of mine, I was like, you want a trekking pole? He's like, I don't know, I'll take one. He said it was probably the best thing that he used the whole trip, just because when you go up and down in the snow, you're slipping and sliding so much, and it just kind of provides that extra balance for you. So.
And we get a lot of comments about that, a lot of teasing, but they are really handy. And just like Jalen said, in the snow, keeping your balance, it sucks slipping around, and then it's just nice when you're climbing up hills, you just get the arms into it a little bit better. And it sounds stupid, but don't knock it till you try it. First thing is for the spotting scope. We have this Tacticam. We might be ditching this next year. It's nice. It's a little heavier than just like a phone setup, and that's what I think we'll go to next year. But we've had problems with some blurry footage, and it's just disappointing. It just seems like you have to have everything perfect on this. There's a little screen back here, you turn it on, and it's pretty easy to use. It's nice to use, but there's been times, my Wyoming deer hunt was a prime example. Me and Cannon spotted the 2 bucks that we were kind of going after on the second day. Tried to get footage of it, and when we got back home to the computer, it was basically terrible footage. They were out of focus, and it'd be a lot easier to see on a bigger screen. This is a pretty small screen on the phone. We've used the phone stuff before, but I guess we thought this was gonna be better and tested it out, and not a huge fan of it. GoPro setup. We just have some sort of head mount on here right now. It's actually just a cheap one off of Amazon, I believe. We have the Hero 7 Black version. We use GoPro every once in a while. We're not huge on it, but it's cool to see some walking shots, or if we want to set it up on that little tripod, get a different angle. This thing hanging off the side here is an external battery. Yeah, it's just power add. Again, just a Amazon special, really, and it works good. I just have it plugged in all the time. This way, if you're walking, you just kind of strap it to the back here. I have a big head, so it's nice and tight there. But yeah, it works good, and it even is good for charging up your phone or whatever. A lot of times we won't have it attached, but it works great for that. These GoPro batteries really suck. Honestly,
in cold weather,
they're terrible. I mean, and by cold weather, I mean 50 degrees. Yeah. Sometimes they're going down fast. So instead of just bringing a bunch of little batteries, we plug it into there. It might be a little inconvenient, but for what we use it for, it's perfect. The camera we're using to film this and what we film everything is the Sony A700, I believe. Has a Rode microphone on top, and it's kind of our go-to camera. Has some good image stabilization, shoots in 4K, I think 60 frames per second. I could be wrong on the 60 frames per second, but really solid camera for what we use. We have a smaller camera that we use sometimes. We're kind of getting away from that one. That's the AX53, I believe, by Sony as well. We try to keep everything Sony. We think that's the best cameras for what we use. We used to use Canon a little bit, but we try to keep everything the same. That's why batteries are the same. Don't have to deal with mix matching batteries. So that's our camera setup. Some of you might find that interesting. Some of you not interested at all. If you're not filming your hunts, screw that. Last thing that we keep in our packs, spotting scope. This year was kind of a weird year for our spotting scope. This is why we saved it for last. We used to have a Vortex Razor 80. I don't know what the zoom was, but it was a good one. It was just long and bulky and heavy. So actually, I ordered, Swarovski just came out with a brand new compact spotting scope. I think STS or something like that. Little straight version. I got it on order on Go Hunt. So I don't know when it's going to get here. Hopefully before next season. So we sold that Vortex one about mid-season, of course. And I had a friend that was nice enough to loan us another Swarovski spotting scope. Just kind of the, I'm not going to say cheap version, but it's one of their cheaper ones. It's just a straight spotting scope, 65 millimeter or whatever. And don't know a lot about it, but it's just kind of a loaner for right now, and it worked great. But we always try to make sure we have a spotting scope. Thanks for watching. It was our early season bag dump. Covered a lot of good things, and we've had a lot of questions about this, so we wanted to really kind of do an in-depth look on what we bring with. It might have drug on a little too long for a lot of you, understandable, but if you're looking to get into this stuff, I think you can learn something from this. We're always learning. I mean, I was watching these videos when we were learning. We are still learning. I still watch these videos. But don't be afraid to reach out and ask us too. If you have a question on any of this, just go to our best way is probably our Instagram. It's like NJ Hunting 2020. 2020, yep. And just direct message us. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. We love hearing from you guys. We love reading the comments on YouTube. And we just love when people reach out to us and tell us that we're helping them in some way even.
I guess one thing to add, if you're seeing all this stuff and you're getting overwhelmed, like you got to get a lot of stuff, I wouldn't say all this stuff is a necessity. A lot of this stuff is just nice to have if you're going to get way back in there. But if you have questions on it, like is there any must needs I need to have to 100%. Get into hunting, or if I want to hunt this way, like what do I need to have? Feel free to reach out or comment on this video, because we'll gladly share what we know and what we use a lot.